What is good, y'all? It's your boy Zay, Xavier Khalid, Mr. X. Just get the name correct so I know that you respect. Back here with another video for the channel. Um, this is my creative channel over on my consumer channel. That's where I review books. That's where I review games. That's where I play games. That's why I possibly may be doing food reviews or whatever has to do with a consumer. Um, but over on this channel, this is me being a creative, a thinker. So I give you the behind the scenes of my life, as an artist of how I think and my thought processes. So more music still on the way. Though today we have a video just going over like some philosophical stuff that I wrote up. Not even really philosophical stuff, just kind of like life advice, I guess. I'm not a philosopher. I don't know know all. Philosophers don't even know all. So this is just kind of like just me giving you advice from where I'm at 25. So um, if I were to give you any advice, it would be this that I wrote up. I have it over here on paper, um, in my notebook, and we just gonna go through it, man. So I've been evicted, living homeless. The most I had saved up was probably like $7,000, and spent it all. All gone. How apartment gone. Not living by myself anymore at 25. So, if you're gonna take advice from anybody, about finances, it should probably be me, only for the simple fact that I know the ups and downs. I don't just know the ups. I know like what it's like to be kinda up and then lose it and then having to come back up again. So um starting off, I just want to say that you should become skillful in many aspects, because the world is ever changing. So you want to acquire ever changing skills, or you want to acquire skills that are irreplaceable. You don't want to acquire any skills that the world is changing, and you either gonna have to keep learning skills that change with the world, or you're gonna have to find a skill that is stuck there, that's gonna stay, like HVAC, or like a mechanic or something, something that can't really be automated, or that they haven't figured out how to automate yet, and that won't be automated in the next 50 years, while you're working. So 30 to 50 years. So that'll give you plenty of time to build other skills and find other routes. But you don't want to have skills that are easily replaceable, especially in this time period now with AI. um, and don't waste time with skills just because it's your dream, or just because it's the most enjoyable skill, because you probably missing out on other things that you're actually good at, just trying to chase something that you're just enjoying for that moment, or that's always been a lifelong dream. um Equally so, don't waste time chasing one facet of life. um we so impressionable as people by a lifestyle that's sold to us on social media and that's marketed to us. And the only way that we can really get into these lifestyles is to either buy into it, or we have to completely go against our own set of morals and values just to be accepted inside of that community. So don't waste your time just chasing one facet of life. Um, Really, the only way to achieve the lifestyle that you want for yourself is to remain humble. And remaining humble, um just create a step-by-step plan that gets you to where you gotta go. But then also you should have contingencies like Batman. um if you have contingencies, um it helps you create a detour for yourself, just in case that original road that you were taking gets blocked for some reason. Who knows, something that you were doing might get automated. Now you like, dang, I was learning this skill, I was enjoying this skill, but I was enjoying this skill and data entry, but they start replacing us with AI, and but I do remember that I also went to school for music, and I know a couple homies who are music producers, and they have a studio that they let me come into at any time, and so maybe I should go back to producing because I do have a few skills over in that area, or there's YouTube, or maybe you had a lawn care service, you know how to take care of lawns, maybe you live in a place where it snows and you shovel snow, and then you create a snow shoveling business in the winter. You never really know. So another thing is that you really want to learn what's being marketed to you. um and this the part that I really had to wrap my head around, because as a graphic design student, I learned a lot about marketing. I was in business class and graphic design, but as a graphic design student, I really learned a lot about like how things are marketed, and how like colors and everything catch your eye, and the way that they place words on everything. And then being in business class actually teaches you the language and the jargon behind ads and marketing and stuff like that. So but that was back in high school. I haven't been to high school in about 7 years at this point. So maybe 6 years. Yeah, going on. Yeah, about 7 years. Um, so questions that you want to ask yourself: does it, one, fit my lifestyle? If it doesn't fit your lifestyle, then you should not be interested in whatever product is being marketed to you. You should not be interested in the investment that you're making into this product, whether it's your education, and which we're going to get to later, or whether it is um anything that has to do with benefiting like the life that you foresee for yourself. um Also, does it align with your values? It may be something that's beneficial, but a company may support something that you don't support. you know Company, it's been plenty of boycotts within the African American community, that took away from a lot of designer brands, that took away from a lot of alcohol products. And if it goes against your value to, your boys want to hang out and you don't drink, and it goes against your values to buy a bottle, and they like, come on man, just have fun, but it don't align with your values, just don't do it. Unless you do want to just kick it and have fun. Like if that's part of your values, like, it's a once in a while occasion, okay, then do that. But if it's like you feel like one drink is going to send you down a spiral because you know that people in your family has had addiction, then don't do it. Simple as that. So and a lot of people, they don't realize the power in that, because like I said, with the African American boycotts, some of these companies, they didn't realize that African Americans pulling away from their products, they must not have read the analytics, because once we pulled away, they lost billions of dollars. So it really is power in the black dollar. It's power in not just the black dollar, but it's power in the American dollar. It's power in our community's dollar. Whether you live in the suburban, the hood, rural area, urban area, it doesn't matter. It's power in that dollar. Especially as the consumer. Another thing is, what will be the future benefit, and is it just a pleasure purchase or an investment? So, me myself, I made a lot of pleasure purchases. I'm a foodie. I like food. Um, so I always eat out instead of cooking. But then I started learning that I had to cook for myself. Um, I was laid off. That's why I got evicted. So um, really, really kind of like fired from HVAC job. So that is sort of the reason behind like why I lost everything. Having to put everything up and do this and do that, and then spending stuff that I wasn't supposed to be spending, trying to buy clothes and look fresh or buy studio equipment. Going broke doing that. and upgrading things that I didn't even need to upgrade at the time just because I had the money. I thought, well, this would be a nice addition or this would be a nice upgrade. So is it a pleasure purchase or is it an investment? Because some of that stuff is an investment. I have the webcam. I have my webcam. I have my monitor. I have my headphones. I have my computer set up. I have my studio set up for my music. I have the games for my gaming channel. So like, I made some of these things that could be a pleasure purchase into an investment, and now I'm seeking to get a return on investment by bringing you guys these videos, by creating, by actually going through the thought processes of what can I do for this to actually make a profit. I have my Shopify site, where I sell my beats and everything like that. So just little tidbits like that. So the reality of these questions will really reveal our own understanding of our finances and purchases. And it requires a level of responsibility and accountability. Um, that's pretty much obvious because if you're irresponsible with your money, you're gonna be broke. If you accountable for yourself and you really hone down whether I'm making pleasure purchases and what's the future benefit if I invest in this purchase, or what's the future benefit of me getting this pleasure purchase. Maybe you like a maybe you into suits and you like a new suit that 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 you just seen at the mall or something. You were at the outlet, you seen a new suit, um, and then you go in there, you going I don't know, what's something that's I personally like get my button downs and button ups from Nautica and Van Heusen, um, or you might go to Izod or something like that. So you go to Van Heusen and um they have a sale on some button ups, and then you can get some slacks. So you can get 3 button up shirts and some slacks for 150 $200. And you have $500. You have to now make a decision: is it worth the purchase? But then you thinking in your head like, yeah, I like this type of style, this is how I dress. But then also, you're a college student and maybe you have career day coming up. You have interviews coming up, you have internships. So then now you buy some button ups and some slacks to mix and match. you know um you never know what you have coming up in the future. You might have a court date coming up in the future. You might have anything that could possibly happen coming up. So yeah, sometimes a pleasure purchase may just be an investment, or you can turn a pleasure purchase into an investment. If you like playing video games and your girl all the time at home complaining that you don't do nothing after work but play a video game, but you got PS5, start recording on your PS5. Start recording on your PS5, chop up the gameplay footage. If you got a computer, save it on your USB drive, and edit it on your computer and upload it to YouTube. I mean, Streamlabs is free. Streamlabs is free. CapCut is free. You don't need Sony Vegas. You don't need Premiere Pro to do the videos. I mean, start with the simple work. Everybody wants to start off extravagant and big, but you have to start where it is simple at. We're going on 14 minutes, so I'm gonna hurry up and speed it along. But moving forward from understanding your finances and purchases and acquiring the level of responsibility and accountability, it allows you to be able to make both conscious and conscientious financial decisions. So not just conscious, because conscious is just like a state of being aware. It's like a state of being awake and just knowing. But making a conscientious decision is like making an informed, knowledgeable decision. So it's definitely a difference in the two. and you want to exercise both when it comes to making a financial decision, because you may get wrapped up in doing a deal because you think it'd be beneficial, and then they start spewing out words that you've never even heard before, that you start reading words in the contract that you've never even seen before, and now you got to start looking stuff up, asking around. And that's how a lot of people in my field, music, get caught up in bad deals because they don't read. They either weren't taught to read. Nobody stressed to them the importance of reading, and they just think about the money and they never think about the contract. And the contract could be going against their values. So it's not just purchases that can go against your values, but it's also investments that can go against your values. And signing a contract is making an investment in yourself. It's somebody investing into your career, and you have to use that money to invest back into yourself. But most people don't understand that. So strive to learn investments. And this isn't mutually exclusive to real estate or stocks. Investment is like your skills, your hobbies, your education, etc. The most important being your education. So educate yourself, and then you could find skills. Okay, go back to college, learn computer science, learn math, learn anything in the STEM category. Those are fields that are like not easily replaceable, especially by AI. The engineering, we need that. Scientists, computer engineers, we need that. Okay, anything that has to do with math. Or if you want to learn, or if you want to be a professor, go to school. Lawyers, doctors, anybody in the medical field, dentists. There's plenty of schools. You don't have to just go to a 4-year university or college. It's programs, it's schools, it's certificates, IT. There's so many different things that you could be doing. You could work in media. You can learn about media, and then you can build your own media platform, your own podcast platform, your own this, your own that. And then maybe you could shortcut having to hire people, or you can meet people in college that will work with you, instead of being the unknowledgeable one that just go in and like, oh, I want to do this. Now you're somewhat educated in what you're doing, but you first have to actually do the thing that you're planning on doing. Then now you're applying what you learned. So my last piece of advice is just to pour more into your own life and what brings you fulfillment, because we're not meant to work. Like, yes, we have jobs. Yes, we do things for work and for money, but we don't live for work. We don't live for money. Those are just tools to help advance us on our path. So, hope y'all enjoyed the video, man. It's been your boy Zay, Xavier Khalid, Mr. X. Just get the name correct so I know that you respect. Reminding you again to like, share, comment, subscribe to the video. Do what you do to any regular YouTube video. And it's been your boy, man. Free World Ganganati. Thank y'all for rocking out with me. Appreciate y'all, man. Keep holding it down. The saga continues, man. Love y'all. Peace.